bring the public here at this time. At this time, I'm going to have Sheriff Bill Brown, the Santa Barbara County Sheriff.
Thank you. Hello again, everyone. As we mentioned at the press conference, this is a very rapidly changing situation, and we have some important news for you now to please be aware of. Based on the continuing high rate of rainfall, with no indication that that is going to change before nightfall, we are issuing the evacuation orders now for the burn scar area that was mentioned before, the Montecito burn scar area, but we are expanding that due to conditions on the ground and conditions that are being relayed to us real time. And we are issuing an evacuation order for the entire Montecito community. That is all 15 zones in the Montecito community. We are also issuing evacuation orders for Toro Canyon, for Padero Lane from Calle Real to Santa Claus Lane, and for Sycamore Canyon, and also for the old San Marcos area that is the Painted Cave area and below the Painted Cave area, and also for all campgrounds from the Rincon to Gaviota. So let me just go over those again real quickly. The entire community of Montecito is ordered evacuated and evacuated now. That's all 15 zones in Montecito. That includes the Coast Village Road area, which has already become impassable, and we have high water vehicle in the area now going to be taking people out of the Coast Village Road area. Again, we also are calling this for Toro Canyon, for Padero Lane, for Sycamore Canyon, and for all of the campgrounds from Rincon to Gaviota. And so we advise you to evacuate that area immediately. Schools will be closing and students should be picked up immediately in those areas. For the rest of the county, please remain vigilant. Please remain alert and monitoring. You can go to readysbc.org, readysbc.org for up-to-date information about the situation. And again, this is rapidly evolving, and we have major issues that are occurring across the county with respect to road closures and so forth. This is not a day to be out doing anything if you don't have to. You should not be driving today unless you are in the evacuation zone areas, picking up children or what have you. And we urge everybody to exercise extreme caution as they do. As mentioned before, just a small amount of standing of water that is standing in the roadway can cause significant problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff Bill Brown. We'll take questions at the end here. We're now going to go to Chief Kevin Taylor with the Montecito Fire Protection District.
Thank you, Kelsey. I just wanted to take a moment to reiterate the fact that the evacuation order applies to the entire community of Montecito, not just those properties that were previously identified, the entire community. In less than 12 hours, we've received more than 8 inches of rain, with 7 to 8 inches still forecast to fall, and the watershed is behaving unpredictably, according to our firefighters on the ground. Please heed this evacuation warning now. Don't wait. Thank you.
Now, Chief Fish with Summerlin Carpinteria Fire.
Thank you, Kelsey. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a dynamic situation that we're dealing with right now. This is a situation that we have not seen in quite some time in the South County. And to be clear, we want you to be safe, and we're asking you to please heed these evacuation warnings, especially in the zones that were discussed by the sheriff. Moreover, we have the area between, it was my mistake, it's Villa Real or the 101 freeway on Padaro. That's a low-lying area in the community of Carpinteria Summerlin, between the 101 freeway and Santa Claus Lane. We're asking all residents in that area to please seek higher ground. And the last thing is we have 4 campgrounds that are going to be evacuated or are currently in the process of being evacuated. Starting up in the north, that would be Gaviota, Refugio, El Capitan, and Carpinteria State Beach. Thank you.
Chief Mills, Santa Barbara City Fire Department.
Thank you. Just wanted to reiterate that a section of the evacuation area includes Sycamore Canyon. The burn scar extended over to the west of Gibraltar, or into the area of Gibraltar Road, and so there is a risk with Sycamore Canyon. Currently, Caltrans and the police department are placing a hard closure at Lower Sycamore Canyon, and we are requesting people to evacuate as soon as possible. Thank you.
Kelly Hubbard, Director of Emergency Management.
All right, I just want to reiterate where the evacuation shelters are. We do have evacuation shelter set up at Wake Center at 300 North Turnpike. Our call center phone number is 833-688-5551. For small animals, that is 805-681-4332. For large animals, 805-892-4484. 211 is another call resource. We are working at the Office of Emergency Management to update the maps on Ready SBC. So those maps are getting updated as we speak. So hopefully those will continue to update. Again, dynamic situation, working hard to keep the maps up to date. Please pay attention to the words and the areas identified in the press conference today. Thank you.
Sheriff Bill Brown, Santa Barbara County Sheriffs.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify one thing, and that is the evacuation order for the Alisal burn scar area is really being held in abeyance right now until it is safe for people in that community to leave. The main road in and out, Refugio Road, is impassable at the moment, and we do not want people to be evacuating. If you are in the Alisal area, please shelter in place, go to high ground in your home or in your immediate vicinity of the home. Do not attempt to cross the river crossings, or the creek crossings rather. They are impassable at the moment. We do not want people in the Alisal to evacuate. All other areas, those evacuation zones that we talked about and that we've been advising and updating people on over the last few days, those are evacuation orders are now in effect, and we do want you to evacuate now if you are in those areas that were mentioned previously. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sheriff. At this time, if the media does have any questions, I will feel free to direct them.
For the emergency shelters, since we're talking about the entire Montecito community, do we have enough space, or what is the recommendation for folks to reach out to family members?
Question coming from KSBY, emergency shelters. Is there enough space in the Montecito area? We have Kelly Hubbard coming to answer that.
Thank you. Great question. We're working to evaluate that, look at what the capacity would be and what additional facilities we may or may not be able to open at this time. Also making sure that all those facilities are in safe locations to get to. And so we'll try to put out some press releases or media advisories, as well as post that to our website as soon as we have additional information on that.
Let me just add to that. History has shown us in the past that hotels rapidly fill up, and this is kind of a call to the rest of the community. If you are in an area that is not in an evacuation zone, extend that invitation, if you will, to your friends, to your family, to come and stay 1, maybe 2 nights with you at that location. And that was something that really was important in the 5 years ago, and it's important today as well. So we ask for people to extend that invitation. Sometimes people won't necessarily ask. It's nice if their friends and their family can say, hey, you're welcome and please come now.
The question coming from KEYT is regarding schools, Mount Carmel let out early, or other schools dealing with that situation and roadblocks. Sheriff Bill Brown.
Kevin Taylor, Fire Chief, Montecito Fire Department. The schools were notified about 5 minutes before the evacuation took place. Order went into effect. We do recognize that parents will be picking up children, and of course they will be allowed through any roadblocks that may exist so that they can collect their child. Thank you.
Kelly Hubbard, Director of Emergency Management.
So just since we're still here, I got 2 updates for you. Large animal evacuation shelter is open at Earl Warren. Small animal evacuation shelter is open at Santa Barbara Animal Shelter, evaluating the need in North County. Also, there was a question on a feed, someone's media feed about Spanish. We do attempt and try to get all of the information on the Ready SBC is in Spanish. You can go to also readysbc.org/ES, and that gets you directly to the Spanish language. And all of our notifications, we do strive to get those all out in Spanish as well. So please look at those. All of the information as quickly as possible will be in Spanish as well on those on that website. Looks like there's another one going out right now. Thank you.
Any additional questions before we wrap up this press conference? All right, that concludes the press conference here Monday, January